Welcome back to some professional Starcraft 2. Let me introduce to you the Zerg player in the red. In the bottom right, one of the best Zergs in the world. Except when he's faced with his nemesis, Maru. Now, unfortunately for him, on the other side of the map in the blue, we have the man, the myth, in question. It's Maru. Yes, a best-of-5 Terran versus Zerg from the Korean Starcraft 2 League Summer Slam. And I won't lie to you. I'll be honest. For real, no cap. I'm here to see Maru just roast Ragnarok. All right, I'm here to see if that stereotype still holds true. Ragnarok has, I think the amount of games, like the percentage, it might be single digits. But in some very high-profile matches, oh, yes, like against Ragnarok in the GSL Finals, when he was finally looking for that 5th GSL Finals, Maru was up against Ragnarok, and his commentary, he said, well, I had a difficult opponent last time in Hero. I really struggled against him. I won't have that problem today. And that stands out. And he said that all with a glowing smile on his face. As Maru, well known for being an easygoing and upbeat player. But he murdered a man on stage, and then he 4-0'd him. So that will stick out in my mind. We'll see if that still holds true. Hopefully you enjoy such drama and excitement. One way or another. Either way. Like and subscribe. And Jimmy, what are we... 1,127 likes, and we'll cast another series. And I'll probably do it anyways. But thank you for tuning in. Thank you for watching. Hopefully you've had a good day so far. Hopefully it's about to get a little bit better. The Reapers get into the main. So far, despite the back and forth, there's already a lair done. The Reapers did survive. The lair being these rushing mutas. Well, Ragnarok, a big muta fan, but it's more of a risk than a risk here, I think. As that lair is incredibly quick, and even if he didn't see the spire, wow, like, that is a... Yeah, Ragnarok is probably the biggest proponent of Mutalisk lately in the meta, as kind of an option to help deal with the inevitable medevac follow-up to the Reapers, while they still have relatively few Marines. Mixed success. I would say it's definitely not going to be replacing the more standard Lingbane Hydra soon. Especially not when your opponent already knows you have a lair. So, the Baneling Nest is going to be after the Mutalisk Den. In this case. Oh yeah, by the way, Ragnarok using the term Hebium, which I believe is like a play on either his name or a play on his name, which he's debated using in the past. And then apparently he went back to Ragnarok officially, because his fans said that doesn't sound nearly as cool as Ragnarok. So Ragnar, okay, at the moment. But yeah, sometimes you'll see him using the ID in other matches. Well, 8 mutas, dozen Zerglings. Maru just sitting back. He's building Widow Mines. He's building missile turrets. But he's not shying away from taking his third base or building up his infrastructure. The most dangerous thing you can do against mutas is turtle up in your own base and hide in a corner. Well, the most dangerous thing is fly across the map in medevacs, but the second most dangerous thing is play overly defensive and let the mutas grab that map control indefinitely. But Maru tucks himself into the minerals here. Medevacs make their way back. Zergling's gunned down. Ragnarok trying to fight with it. And Maru holds the line. How many mutas down? 0. 34 Zerglings, though. He backs off into the main with a couple Widow Mines here. Only a single missile turret. Ragnarok trying to make magic happen yet again. Maru taking not even superficial damage. Scratching the paint of Maru's army composition right now. As eat that supply depot well placed to funnel exactly what we just saw. Trying to chase down the mutas. Ragnarok doing a good job keeping up on the muta micro. You almost literally can't look away or even a split second, or you risk a Widow Mine or some Marines. Really, one, you want to maximize. Whoop. Well, down goes one. The first Muta, surprising so far with the fights he's taken, but the evolution chambers are so late in comparison to Maru. It's just mass Muta. And comparison to Maru's upgrades, that is. Maru's just going to have better and better Marines, whereas Banelings with speed and Mutalisks are the choice for Ragnarok. Now, I think playing a standard game, like a Hydraling Bane big macro game, against Maru is a recipe for disaster. So I like that Ragnar here is going for something a little more dramatic. And I mean, this seems to be his comfort zone, is the Mutas. We've seen him in multiple series recently from him. Even Dark trying some Mutas lately against Maru. That did not go well, but he tried it. Mutas flapping their way across. Plenty of Lings and Banes. Ah. Still 3. More, but is that Octo-Rex? He's going up to 8 bears. Maru just sitting back. I think once he gets close to 2-2, he's going to feel comfortable moving out. He's got 63 to 66 workers. He knows with this many Mutas, and I'm sure he's been checking the Lings and Banes. He knows he has a significant upgrade advantage. He can easily time out. He knows he has at least a minute on those upgrades, if not more. He hasn't seen a Ling or a Bane in a while. Muta's trying to commit. No Overseers, though. So the Widow Mines are just zoning him out. Yeah, Maru closing in on 2-2, getting a little more ambitious with the Bio Army. But no reason to risk it until he reaches that peak level of 2-2 upgrades, which will be the highest he gets for quite a while. So 110 to 75 army supply. Ragnarok is setting up for a massive surround, or at least going to attempt a big counterattack. Down goes another Muta. Maru playing so careful. He knows the way that Ragnarok could potentially pull one over on him is if he offers up too much of his army. And Ragnarok is able to crush it. Widowmine taken out, but the Marines force the Mutas away. Still no Overseers. Are there any Overseers on the map? He has one, which seems almost negligent. Now 2-2's done. Maru is maxed out. Under 10 minutes here. With full production. The Lings and Banes looking to roll in, but the Widowmine will take out a half dozen or so of them. The Marines will eat some of the rest. The Mutas trying to come in, and the SCVs are obliterated, but what is there to stop Maru? A scan, spots some Banelings, goes for the missile turret over here, but Maru is everywhere. Terran through the natural, the third, and the non-existent fourth. I don't know if there was a hatchery there, but there certainly isn't anymore. Down goes the Baneling nest. Maru, yes, the Banelings broke through, but they only get one shot with them. And now Banelings rolling past. It's 1-1 versus 2-2. Maru with some textbook splits there. Able to dance his way back, and game 1 will decisively go to the rank 1 Terran. The Muta's optimistic, I will say. Is going to have to go back to the spawning pool on that one, I think. As and the fact that the lair was scouted by the early Reapers, Maru can do that math. I'm sure more complicated math wouldn't even be challenging for him. But a lair with no third base and all that gas, it wasn't a big struggle for him to put it together. So Maru with a comfortable and decisive game 1. He tried the Mutas. Good to get that out of the way. We established that no, rushing Mutas is not really a, I wouldn't say not a viable strategy, but it's certainly, at this level, I'd say not a viable strategy. It needs to have a certain confluence of events. 1, you hide it as long as possible. 2, they're not doing a bio build. Doing the 3 racks or the 2 racks Reaper early on means there's going to be Marines with stim. And maybe other players... Jimmy, thank you. Maybe other players might chase the mutas around with that select all army hotkey. Complain, oh my god, it's so hard to deal with these things, stimming their marauders around. But Maru knows what he's about. The patience to just kind of... I mean, the instinct as Terran is to be moving out on the field at all times. It is something that will get you killed in that particular scenario. So Maru just sitting back, like, literally until 200 supply. It's like, it's not... this is the hammer with which I will smash you. Maru pushing... Wow. The barracks so far forward, obviously, because he wants to build add-ons behind it. But at the same time, also just kind of amusing to look at. A bulwark of his base there. Overlords, you know, doing as they do, drifting across, slowly, ambling through life. More like gliding through it. Wherever the winds of life. Maybe not that one for Zerg, but Overlord's life a contemplative one. Except when they get speed, in which case they must contemplate much more dramatically, but how do they even move? I don't want to think about that. Everything that comes to mind is between marginally and significantly uncomfortable. You know what else is uncomfortable, though? Harassment. Okay. No. Reapers. That's what I was talking about. Don't you go there. So much harassment that... a bunker! It escalates. Let's go to the Ragnarok action camp. He sees the bunker. He knows. Maru's been able to jam it in back there. Oh, he just gets in with the Zerglings. At least he'll scout there's a command center, though the Overlord would have done that anyways, momentarily. He's got a Baneling nest. And, well, tag team in the hatchery here. Yeah. Is he actually going to try to break this with Bane? Here comes the Queen. There's a Marine as well. Oh, the speed, but he's going to be able to get into the bunker. And the SCV is tucked into that corner for max repair. Oh my god. Maru, yes, it's going to get cleaned up. He tried to salvage there, which was optimistic. You know, there's enough Zerglings. There's enough Zerglings now that... he's going to chase down the Reapers, but this has hamstrung Ragnarok's economy so significant. Oh my... What? Come on! He's... One lives. He's healing. Oh my... Oh, come on! This feels like a bit of a metaphor for how this series... I predicted this series to go. Oh my god, stop it! Stop! Stop right there, criminal scum! Oh... Well... He lost 18 Zerglings taking that down. Here comes some Lings and Banes. You know, this might work. Yeah, he just busted right through. The fact that he went for the Baneling bust as the counterplay. Tries to lay down the engineering base, but not this time, Maru. You stop right there indeed. The Banelings are busted through, and this time you're not gonna get away. Oh, big victory there for both the self-esteem and the series. As Ragnarok able to take one back. He predicted, and honestly, I like the idea that the Baneling nest was for the counterattack, not for the bunker. That would be silly. But he already knew that Maru was locked into that bio army, and if he can knock out the Reapers before the Banelings show up, well, that's the makings of a victory right there. So, all tied up. I don't think Maru's going to be too put out by that one. A bit of a cheeky bunker play. But overall, I wouldn't worry too much. Jimmy, where are we at? Thank you, thank you. Ragnarok likes his little extractor tricks, early. Yeah, 15 hatch, by the way. Really quick. I think that's something you see a lot more often than in... Well, it's a 16 hatch and double extractor trick. So, something you see a lot more often in Protoss versus Zerg. because this allows you to get your hatchery usually quick enough before the first probe gets there. Even maybe unless they send it out at the very beginning of the game, which players have a tendency to do. But slapping it down against Maru, it also gets you a second hatch quicker. Which, I mean, not to repeat myself, but that means queens, zerglings. Though it does cut into your early economy a little bit. It's not quite the ideal economic play, but Ragnarok seems to be a fan of it. I've noticed him doing it in every game so far, I think. Also, Extractor Trick does feel quite fancy. It is a fancy mechanic for sure. Alright. What's it gonna be? Maru with the 2 racks, but he's getting a Marine quick this time. Yeah, wants to deny the Overlord potentially? Yeah, just build Marines. So, not the 3 per play. Flying around, there's the Queen is out. Reapers looking for the 3rd. A suspicious lack thereof, actually, to not have a 3rd base by 240, 245 is right around the outer edge of it. Anything past that, and you start getting a little suspicious. There's 3ZC for Maru. Is it going to be a quick lair again? He's waiting. He hasn't started speed. I don't think that's an accident. Ragnarok gonna Muta Rush Maru? Again? The absolute madman. Either he's... Well, we'll see. We'll try it again. Maybe this time. Oh, but he's got a roach warning. Okay, I take it back. I don't know everything. There's more than one build. He hadn't taken the gases. He's taken 2 more. So this is trending further towards Nidus. In this case. As you don't really... Well, it's looking very much like a Nidus. And Maru, you know, the Nidus can work well when your opponent thinks that they're dealing with Mutas. And I think he set the tone for Mutas. So, Maru might not be quite ready for it. There's no 3rd. He's very suspicious. Maru going back and forth, and he may actually commit here. Okay. He just gets in. He's just, like, just failed. He's even gonna kill some drones. Like, oh my. Oh, it's not good. He sees the lair. He sees the gases. There's roach speed. Was that the plan? I don't know. At this point, now we're going roach speed. Ragnarok opens up an opportunity towards his 3rd. He gets through that golden wall there. Missed that map. Looking forward to some new ones. Soon, TM. Creep tumor taken out. I'm sure it'll be replaced, but... Roach is on the way, but there's a safety Banshee as well. Overseer taken out. Well, I mean, I guess he successfully scouted there's a bunch of Marines, but I don't think you need to lose the Overseer to do that. Banshee is headed out. Honestly, I don't know if the Roaches are gonna be enough here. Ragnarok again trying... I don't blame him for trying these kind of essentially all-in strategies against Maru. Because you're not going to go toe-to-toe with Maru. There is one player, there's 1.5 players who can go toe-to-toe with Maru in a macro game. I only describe it like that, because Dark is no Serral. He's something different. Dark kind of sidesteps Maru, like waving a red flag in front of a bull. Whereas Serral actually takes him head-on. But here, Ragnarok is waving a red flag in front of the bull. But is he going to be able to get out of the way in time? Well, here we go. Roach Ravager. The barracks in front. Maru already has... I don't know why I'm defaulting to, like, Maru's the aggressor. Maru's clearly on defense here, but the idea stands. Where it's up to Ragnarok to get something done. Because this unit composition of Maru is going to get more and more dangerous. Of course, if he loses combat shield, it'll delay the danger a bit. He denies it with that one siege tank. And the fact that Maru lost the Banshee. But Ragnarok's at 43. Now 47 drones. He's trying to kind of macro it out. Some depots, some chew toy depots there. Anything to make it harder for the Roach Ravager to get... Okay, alright, simmer down over there. Itchy, corrosive bile finger. Ugh. Firing off another volley. Maru decides his barracks are a little far forward here. Restarts combat shield. Well, once again, Ragnarok has kind of this army composition that Maru has to sit back and build up his critical mass. The difference between... Yep. Oh, let me finish my point, Maru. The difference between the Mutas and the Roach Ravager is the ability to do drops. Maru thinks a little faster than I can talk. Alright, a little, but... Realizing that with enough tanks at home, then what is the Roach Ravager really going to do? Sends the medevacs out immediately. His mobility is now on his side. He might not be able to fight the Roach Ravager heads up, though if he finds one he thinks he can take, I'm sure he'll consider it. Back into the main. The Ravager's there to look menacingly at those medevacs and take some corrosive biles at him if he's feeling spicy. But there's otherwise... How many queens are on the field? Only 4, because this was something of a rush here to the lair tech, which limits the amount of queens in general. So Maru just dancing around. He's doing all this while he's also taking his third. And the army of Ragnarok no longer enough to intimidate Maru out of it. Wow, he finished +1. He finished combat shield. And now he's on the hunt. He's chasing down this Roach Ravager. Dodges out of the corrosive bile. Still 2 medevacs full of Marines here. Ragnarok is up to 75 drones, but he has to spend some time waiting for him to kick in. He hasn't had that economy. At least not for long enough. Whoa. I was wondering where those shots were. Completely off. There's a Liberator sieged up, but it was taken out here. So the Liberator attempt from Maru shut down. Oh, the Roach Ravager, he's just going to go straight for it yet again. Easily target down those Ravagers if there's only a few units around him. Just boosting his way back home. Daring Ragnarok to come across the map. And he's not hesitating here. There's no... Maru realizes his advantage is with his army. He doesn't want to let Ragnarok have the economy or the unit composition to fight him. I don't know if he saw the hive, but he's anticipating it as Maru attacking. As Vipers are in production. Ragnarok smartly going for the quick hive afterwards, but I don't think it's going to matter. Well, he's maxed out. It is 1-1 versus 1-1. I don't know why I'm underestimating Ragnarok here. I'll be honest, quite a biased cast. I'm just assuming Maru's gonna magically turn 200 supply into 100 with no losses. Takes down the rocks in the bone trench. Makes it a little bit harder. Was there a unit under there? Or a building or something? Because they actually damaged the rocks. It's kind of weird. Why are the rocks at half HP? Alright, that was odd. Here's Maru, greatest enemy. Maru, the natural predator of rocks. Well, here come the Vipers, though. A great opportunity for Ragnarok. Lays down some blinding clouds. Gets 3 of the tanks. Beautiful split out of Maru. He comes up with the reinforcements. The Banelings are exhausted, and Maru is on the hunt. The medevacs are still fully intact. Half the siege tanks remain, and the Terran army is just too strong. Well, yeah, there's that. It wasn't quite 200 into 100, but it ain't too far off either. Another round of Banelings, but this hatchery's gone. This is not an army you can fight with even supply, let alone 20 down. And it looks like Maru is once again gonna reference the textbook for another victory here. I don't know. Like, Maru, I think this is a contrast here. And that's kind of what I wanted to show this series. Is... because I see a lot of commentary about Zerg. And about how Zerg is so easy to execute. And the late game units are so strong. And how Maru had no chance. No, it's not Zerg. Now, you can make your arguments here. But it's not so much Zerg as it is Dark and Serral. And honestly, Dark has to work real hard for it. But here, Ragnarok, who is actually, I believe, ranked 5th? No, 6th in Zergs worldwide. Just a few down. The difference is palpable. Palpable, I say. I won't say it again, though, because that is a bit of an uncomfortable word. It's use it sparingly. But here we go. Maybe Ragnarok can turn it around. And maybe I'll step in and accomplish the same. There's a pull first. All right, that's what we're doing. Pull first it is. A gas before hatch, but still quite a quick hatch after it. Is this just going to be Zerglings? Maru is going for the 2 racks again. Water is wet. He's been really liking it. Essentially, it's almost 100% of games now for him. Like, high double digit per 70, 80, something like that. He's really taken to it. And it has kind of re-established a new baseline for the meta in Terran versus Zerg. The only, like, once again, we have to go back to Dark and Serral. Serral has a very minimalist response to it as Zerg. Serral just micros his queens and gets a couple extra Zerglings and keeps them busy. Dark sends out, usually, this is usual. We haven't had too many sample sizes. I guess Dark versus Maru is a little higher, but Dark, on the other hand, builds enough units to murder those Reapers and maybe turn around. Kind of like Ragnarok did on Ancient Cistern. But that is very two different schools of thought. Kind of the sword and the shield mentality. But it is, the key point is we're talking about how Zerg deals with it. Because it is something that gives even more initiative to Terran. And even quicker than reactored Hellions or a battle cruiser. So, unfortunately or fortunately, I don't know, depends on who you are and what you like watching. But it doesn't lend itself nearly as often to a battle cruiser opener or build. You just don't have the factory and the starport as quick. You're much more likely to work on those bio units early, even if you might think about a Banshee or a Viking. Okay, he won't pull first, so the Reapers should not be doing damage. They should at least be zoned out by the units. Maru is not intimidated. I mean, Ragnarok did take a quick third hatch, and is going to be using... He doesn't even have... Okay, this is another kind of a different opener out of Ragnarok, as he doesn't even have a quicker Zergling speed than usual. So, just want to get those queens quicker. Brenda! Crawling their way down to the third. Another thing is the lack of queens out of Ragnarok. Partially because his builds are so tech-focused, like when you're building a lair. Biggest weakness, can't be building a queen out of that hatch. Disastrous. Roach, Warren on the way. This looks the closest to a more standard macro style out of Ragnarok so far. Maru getting a Liberator. He's got Stim on the way. Reactored Hellions here. What is he doing? Where are those Marines going? Where are those Marines going, Maru? Explain yourself! I think he was looking maybe for any overlords. If he gets anything, sends them out. Makes Ragnarok nervous. He knows about the overlord. Hanging out the pervert pillar over here. Watching the front for now. At least until that liberator comes out. Liberator headed across. And... Double NG Bay. Still a quick lair, relatively, for Ragnarok. Not opting for any Evo chambers. Not opting for... Well, he's got only 3-4 gases. They're kind of weirdly distributed. There's the Evo chambers in there. So maybe a more Lingbane-oriented style. Spots the Spore. What? Liberator will siege up, take a couple pot shots. Surprising. Maru may actually lose it. Nope, gets away after going past the Hero Liberator. Goals. It's not how ships work, but... +1/+1. Actually quite close here. Maru with only a slight edge, but now he has some Marines dropping into the main, and there's not that many units here. Stim is done. He can assassinate the Queen, spilling royal blood. Wait, so, okay, a bit sloppy micro. Gets 2 drones though. We have another army headed in. Incidentally kills a creep tomb. He's fighting the Queens. Does that work? Is that working? No, not really. Ragnarok supply block, though, at a crucial time. And Maru is just going to take out the 4th base. I don't know if an Overlord was lost. I think, yeah, well, clearly at least one, but then he loses the hatch as well. And production, so important for keeping up with the Terran army. As hatcheries are not just for mining. They're also your main production facility. Actually, your only production facility. Liberator sieging up. Spore Crawler maneuvers and roots itself down, but he gets a Queen that was softened up from earlier. Oh no, chasing down the roaches. Maru coming in again for the 4th. More roaches popping out. Picks up. Heads out. The losses are mounting, but they aren't critical yet. As the lair is done, do we have roach speed? It is completed. And +1/+1 will be done for both sides momentarily. So there may be a moment here for Ragnarok with... Give me the Ravagers. Nope, Ragnarok. It's Ravager time. It's Ravaging time. Revengers. Thank you. With the Roach Ravager to try to break Maru. With that 200 supply swell. He doesn't have 2-2 on the way. Maru does have an armor. He hasn't started his +2 yet. He's building those tanks. Maru's got quite an entrenched position. He's reinforcing it, adding more depots, and even missile turrets just in case of maybe like a burrow move play. But here comes Ragnarok. Maru's got 4 siege tanks. Well, God, the positioning. Setting up like it's a campaign mission. But Ragnarok gonna try to bust through. Taking oh, he didn't even kill the first tank! The damage output. The positioning of Maru, but he loses 2 of his siege tanks. Ragnarok trying to break through. His units just... Well, getting the tanks is very, very important. Allows him to bust through the barracks here. That means the attack can continue. Tanks will have to reposition. He's down to 2. The production swells. Maru actually lost a couple barracks there too. The boys are pulled. Maru looking to make a stand. Still, the siege tanks are not going down to the Ravagers. They're not getting the damage done quick enough. The boys are pre-pulled. Maru actually has a worker lead, but not if he has his way. He wants to fight and use the boys to absorb enough damage to run over the rest of the army. But Ragnarok sitting on 126 to 70 army supply. Just roasting through. Siege tanks doing so much damage to the roaches at the front, but the Ravagers are starting to break through. The Marines may have an opportunity. A Liberator shows up, a second factory producing siege tanks now. And Ragnarok, he kills 20 SCVs. Maru plummets to a 1-worker lead. Ragnarok gonna come around. Unfortunately, those siege tanks easily able to re-siege, reposition. Gonna try to come through yet again. Corrosive Biles off the mark! Are you using a controller? The amount of times 2 out of 3 Corrosive Biles have landed is concerning here. You need all 3. Dark makes it look easy, but getting all those Ravagers in range. Oh, and he's holding the high ground, zoning him off the tanks. The Marines are standing their ground. They have +2 weapons done, and Maru turns the tables and just ripping his way through the Ravagers. It's not over yet, but... Oh, and there's a Liberator on the other side. The moment he's able to get that high ground. Maru with a textbook defense here. And this, like, I think this is really outlining the difference. Like, Ragnarok is clearly a great player. Maybe not clearly here because we keep seeing him against Maru, but his mechanics are incredible. He's got 600 APM, and he's using most of it. But it's that little bit of extra edge you need to take. You can't miss those Corrosive Biles. You might be able to max out in 8 minutes. But Maru, with about half the army supply, still. He's scanning, making sure there's no hive. There's no reason to risk his main army. He's not risking it, though. He's got 9 chauffeurs for his Marines here. Doesn't have nearly enough Marines. Spray and pray. The medevacs uses the drop command to split off the medevacs that have units in them. Pretty convenient. And the Marines unload and start firing before enough units can deal with them. The Zerglings realize. He picks up and boosts away. Casually strolls by. Actually gonna drop on the low ground. Bit of a mistake. But Maru. Here comes the rest. He drags by the nose the roaches and the Ravagers and the Zerglings around, leads them on a merry path. Anywhere but to his side of the map. So this way, that is a cinematic siege tank push. The spread is good. Close enough to support without being vulnerable to multiple Corrosive Biles. The siege tanks will be picked apart at the edges here. But the bio can easily rotate around. Gets another one. Now Maru clearly looking to push through here. And he has the supply. He's losing the tanks on the edges. But the Roach Ravager production is not keeping up. Ragnarok doesn't have the economy to compete here. Gets another tank. 2 more replace it. Trying to move the Roach Ravager by. Might actually get a double tank kill. No! Off the mark. And that's just too much. The Terran army will rip through the rest. Ragnarok acknowledges it. And graces Maru with the GG. Maru with the only loss being a cheeky and well-executed Baneling bust. A comfortable execution there. Ragnarok with a few hiccups that make it that much harder to compete against his nemesis. But again, Maru with a decisive victory. And now I want to compare. If you haven't yet, I'm going to ask more specifically than liking and subscribing. If you haven't yet, check out Ragnarok versus Spirit, which is Ragnarok against a player who's maybe a few ranks below him, but a little closer, and how he controls those mutas against a more human Terran. Aren't all Terrans here? Stop. Okay. And start liking and subscribing, checking out that video. And, well, hopefully you enjoyed. If you got the means of motivation, make sure to check out Patreon, YouTube membership. Either way, though, like, subscribe, and I hope I made your day a little bit better. I don't know what it all did. Thank you for watching. Good luck, have fun. I'll see you next time. Stay chill.